Hello, loyal listeners, and welcome back to the First of the Worst podcast. I almost just called it the True Detective Pod. I'm Brendan Murphy.
And I'm Steve Arendes.
And it doesn't take a true detective to figure out that I'm a little hungover and not as on the ball as I should be, but we are here, and we are excited about it. We took a bye week last week.
Yeah, summer bye week. It's summer. People want to hang out outside.
And our summer ratings have been sliding, so we figured, to increase demand, gotta take that week off. It's like that week between the Super Bowl. You need the buzz.
Yeah, you gotta create buzz in the summer, right? Everybody's too busy not watching baseball. Well, I guess probably people are watching baseball in Chicago.
I have to admit, I haven't paid a lot more attention than the no attention I paid to anything baseball for like the last 5 years. I mean, I'm going to say what everyone else says. This Cubs team is pretty fun, but there's no but. Like, I'm not invested like people who are real fans, but I have been watching it. It has been enjoyable. Yeah, you will never do that.
I won't do that.
Would you be upset if the Cubs won the World Series? Would that bother you?
Yeah, 100%.
It would.
I won't even hesitate to say.
Oh, no. I mean, hey, sometimes you hate a team. Like, I hate KU. Like, irrationally. Like, them. I would have traded no MU titles in my life for no KU titles in my life. But since that already happened, now I would really like a Mizzou title.
I don't really know what you're offering in that exchange.
You don't get to barter on how your teams do.
It doesn't seem like you're giving anything up.
Yeah, you're not. You're right. I'm not. It's like the things will go the same as they always have for your team, but another team will have misfortune. And I'm like,
okay. Well, I mean, in the end, we're trending towards the best case scenario, theoretically, which is a Cubs collapse.
Yeah, the only thing
everybody's like, this time it's different. This time it's different, but like, it might be.
Well, if they collapse, it's still like in theory, the beginning of something big. I mean, I know in 2003 it was too, with like two of the top 10 starters in baseball on their team, and that went to shit.
Yeah, who are super young.
Super young. Awesome. So like it's not inconceivable. And Zambrano, actually, like maybe like 3 of the top like 12 starters in baseball on their team.
And they were all like under 25.
Yeah. So I mean that went to shit. So this could too. But
enough
this
of our
list is not this list, yeah. This has been the Vine Line podcast. This list today is not about the Cubs. It is about film.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about here are the 10, I guess we're ranking the 10 movies we haven't seen. So the reason a lot of these movies on this list, I mean, the movies on my list are good, but the reason it's bad is because we haven't seen them.
Yeah. It's like you're not as well-rounded as a person for not having seen these movies.
It's kind of a guilt list.
Yeah, it is.
Some of them.
As we'll see, though, like a lot of these movies are a significant time investment.
They're long.
That's part of it. Like they're movies to watch when you like get your wisdom teeth pulled and are home and like incapable of really functioning, but kind of functioning.
Yeah.
Like you're doped up, you're in bed, you can comprehend it, but like you don't want to like be sending emails to potential employers or anything like that while you're that like
for sure.
Up on painkillers and all that. So that's kind of where I think it goes awry with some of these movies. Is they're so many of them are like 3.5 hours long.
I don't know the length of all mine, but I know a lot of them are really long. I'll just have a few things on here. Is like I don't have any really new movies on here because I wouldn't find that to be weird that I haven't seen a newish movie because like you need more time. But I mean you could do that. I just like one example would be it's weird to me that I haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road.
That actually was on mine too. Was like a finalist for me, but I didn't do it.
But it's too new for it to be that weird. Like that's why it's not as like.
I actually this was like one of my first cuts. Was the Mad Max because I haven't seen the originals either.
Yeah, I've seen them all and I love them, but it's just like it's too new like for this one.
And they're like a kind of a cultish, pretty well regarded '80s movie.
Yeah, well, most of them. Yeah, one of them sucks. I forget which one it is. But it sucks. And then like, so I have a couple other like, so we were going through this like what constitutes seeing a movie. Like I was talking about, I think I've seen the first hour of Apocalypse Now and the final scene. And I don't really feel bad about it because I kind of quit watching Apocalypse Now after an hour because I got bored, even though it's supposed to be an awesome movie. And I just watched the final scene because people like love that scene, so I watched it once.
So
I don't. It wouldn't make my list because I don't feel bad about it. You could argue that I've seen it, even though I haven't seen the whole thing, but I also don't feel bad about it because I didn't like what I saw.
You certainly got a taste of it.
Yeah. But yeah,
you took 2 spoonfuls of Apocalypse Now, and we're like, this is not for me.
And I'm also like really mad I haven't seen Fast and the Furious 8 yet, even though it hasn't been filmed. But it didn't make my list.
Yeah, you can't put future. You can't.
All right, let's just start it up. What's your number 10?
This is one. Okay, this is one that I think like I haven't even seen it, but I can make a pretty strong case. This is even a good movie, but it's a movie that of our generation is just universally loved. And I have some movies of our generation that I haven't seen. Like I haven't seen Karate Kid, and that's not on my list.
Oh my God.
Because I think the Top Gun, which I put on my list, can just take kind of the placeholder for like all those like 80s movies that I haven't seen.
Karate Kid's so much better than Top Gun.
I feel Top Gun to be a little bit more iconic on the whole. As someone who hasn't seen it.
Are they making a sequel?
Isn't it just every Jerry Bruckheimer movie ever?
I think they're actually making Top Gun too.
And wasn't there a movie called Days of Thunder, which my college roommate just called Top Car?
I don't know which one of those came out first.
No, Top Gun did. Top Gun did.
Yeah, Top Gun is. I mean, what is it known for? It's just like the greatest homosexual movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean, also the Take My Breath Away scene.
Well, the volleyball scene. The volleyball scene is the most iconic.
So, like, I know about Top Gun, and I know that whichever one is not Tom Cruise dies, and I think I don't feel bad about saying that on a podcast.
Anthony Edwards. Spoiler alert.
It's not Val Kilmer. I thought it was Val Kilmer that died.
No, Anthony Edwards is like his co-pilot.
Okay, and
spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Top Gun. You can stop the podcast now and watch it. Or just be like Brendan. Yeah, no, there's like a situation where they have to eject, and Anthony Edwards like hits the glass on the top when they eject and dies.
Oof.
Yeah, and yeah, Val Kilmer's like.
You know what was funny? As high as that movie went, that was the peak of his career, probably in terms of profile. I mean, Anthony Edwards. He's had a pretty long and successful career, but the highest profile thing, ER, you're right, was a big deal for a while.
Yeah. And then Val Kilmer, since you haven't seen the movie, was like his rival in Top Gun school, but also like they were like the 2 best pilots, him and like Val Kilmer and him. But like, and by the end, earned begrudging respect from Val Kilmer or something like.
That is the plot that has gone on in every movie like that ever.
Yeah.
It probably has something to do with around the time that his original partner died. Like he consoled him, or I mean, I'm just making this up, but it's also formulaic. The thing is, Val Kilmer's had a kind of a great career. He's retired and crazy.
No, he's nuts. Yeah.
Jim Klosterman wrote an article about going out to his ranch in like Montana or Wyoming. Also, Val Kilmer, no one's seen him. He's gained like 100 pounds.
He's huge. Yeah.
He's huge now. And not that old.
What was the last movie he made? Like,
God.
Not The Saint. He has to have made a movie after The Saint. Or was that like kind of towards the end, actually, though?
That is toward the end. I'm going to look up his filmography.
I feel like he had like one decent, like a movie where he got like some accolades after that.
He's a voice in Planes, which is probably where he wants to be at right now.
Just like being a voice in movies and get those easy checks.
Dude, nothing of substance that I recognize since God.
The Saint.
Might be. I'm still going. The Love Guru. I mean,
oh God, he was in The Love Guru. Was it like a cameo?
Uncredited, so that doesn't count. Like, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is the last one I recognize. There's other stuff on here. And like weird cameos on Robot Chicken and video game voiceovers. Gotcha. And yeah, so he's been really retired for quite a while.
All right. So before I get into my list, I didn't put any animated movies on here because I don't find it that weird that I haven't seen any of those. Now going forward, it might become weird now that I have kids. And I don't have any musicals either because like I don't really care.
All right, actually, one of my omissions was Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I don't think I would like it. I just universally hate musicals. I don't know where you're at on like even the Book of Mormon. I didn't hate it, but like,
I enjoyed
was
the
like
Book of Mormon. I saw Les Mis in the theater, and that would be an awesome movie if it wasn't a musical. like the story's cool, like the story, but like I don't need to see him singing. And I went to see Into the Woods with my wife, and that was like almost kind of fun and enjoyable, which is weird. I don't know.
I mean, I'll say this. I think I might have said this in the last podcast. Movies came out, and they all needed lots of musical numbers. Then we made progress on storytelling and our ability to, and technology and our ability to show what was happening without singing it. And then movies got good.
Well, it was just because I think like it was movies at first were kind of just like plays on video, right? And like plays often have like musical numbers and stuff.
Yes, and they were like mass appeal.
Yeah.
And also like those songs were the popular songs you could potentially hear on the radio.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's like when movies got popular is with the music. Like it's not like somebody was watching like Metropolis from like 1925 or whatever. It was this weird ass movie, but like it's not like a musical, but people love that movie. That movie, I had to watch it in a film class, and I was like, "This is, I don't know."
So you took but let me finish my point. And then some guys like music in movies sucks. Let's stop doing that. Let's make real movies. And then movies got awesome. And then like 1990 came around, and some guys like, we need to put more musical movies out. And then for the next 15 years, there was just a shitload of them, and they sucked, and they won Oscars, and people were excited about it. And now I think we're kind of going away from it again. I hope.
I don't think there's been a shit ton. I feel like you get a couple a year.
But in most of my life, there was none. Maybe not. Maybe it was like Maybe it was like almost 2000 when they really started pumping them out.
Nah, they were around. You just didn't see them. I feel like, but like sometimes weird movies are considered musicals. Like the Blues Brothers is like half musical.
Yeah, I mean the Blues Brothers. I'm shocked it's not with the way that the Bad Belushi and Aykroyd try and parlay everything. I'm shocked that hasn't been made into a musical.
Yeah, like on stage. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's just go. So my number 10.
I apologize for taking up too much time on that.
It's okay.
I didn't really have a point there.
My number 10 is, I don't know, it's not that weird, but I just put it on the list because it's widely by a lot of people to be considered the best movie ever, and it's Citizen Kane. But I'm never gonna watch Citizen Kane.
I watched it in an English class, so likewise.
How'd that go?
It's cool, dude. It's cool.
I'm sure it is. Like if that many people say it's like the best movie ever, like there's a few movies that people consider the best movie ever, and that's one of them, right? And I haven't seen it, so.
I mean, the thing is, when you see it now, like all of his groundbreaking shots have obviously been done in lots of other movies I've seen.
Yeah, it was just like
so
older movies.
Part of the effect is lost.
I've seen a lot of old movies because we've talked about this before. I didn't have cable. And my dad watched a lot of like old movies, so I've seen a lot of like old like movies that are considered classic and stuff. So a lot of those actually didn't make my list, but it also wouldn't have been that weird if I haven't seen them. One weird movie that I think is weird that I haven't seen that I also have no intentions of seeing, and it might make me an anti-Semite because I haven't seen it, but it's Schindler's List.
I don't think you need to out yourselves an anti-Semite for that.
I'm not an anti-Semite, but I feel like people are going to judge me for never seeing that. And I'm never going to watch it because I'm never just going to be in a Schindler's List mood.
Am I a racist for not seeing 12 Years a Slave then?
No, it's too new.
Too new.
In 5 years, you'll be a racist for not seeing 12 Years a Slave.
I don't need depressing movies. I don't need movies that are going to be depressing epics.
I saw Django. That's like the fun version.
Yes, that is. Yeah, Django's the fun version of 12 Years a Slave, and Inglourious Basterds is the fun version of Schindler's List.
Yeah, so I just need Tarantino to keep making fun versions of these movies that I need to see. And then I'll watch them.
I will see every movie he makes until I die, but I will acknowledge that they are getting progressively more absurd.
And kind of formulaic. Like, they're kind of the same.
Oh, well, the last two are the same movie.
Yeah, they're the same movie, and I feel like the next one's the same, too.
The next one is Kurt Russell, so there's that.
Yeah, I don't like Kurt Russell, but that's fine.
You don't respect his body of work as much as a lot of like action movie people do. I don't really have that big an opinion of him. I like him, but I haven't seen a lot of his
movies. He is an
movies.
action movie guy, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like his action movies as much as other action movie guys. He's like a B-level action movie person to me. I'm probably insulted. Some people are probably really insulted by me.
They almost assuredly are. But again, it's a symptom of the times. Like his action movies, Escape from New York is not going to hold up.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't at all. All right. What's your number 9?
My number 9, I had an aviation theme at the top. And this is a movie that I've kind of panned without really seeing because I don't really like parody and this type of satire, but everyone loves it. And if I want to be in comedy, I have to watch this movie, and that's Airplane.
Airplane's fine. Yeah, I've seen. I don't know if I've ever watched it all the way through, but I've seen like many parts of it many times. Airplane's.
I mean,
fine,
I know the great line. I know the great line about the guy coming up to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and says something like, "Are you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? My dad says you don't try until the playoffs," which is hilarious that he was still playing and doing that movie, and they were able to do that joke. LeBron James never would have allowed them to make a joke like that in Trainwreck. Would never, ever have done that. But Kareem's like, I've won so many titles, and I fought Bruce Lee, so whatever, do your thing.
Kareem's a pretty chill guy. I don't think he would mind people making fun of him.
No. So, I mean, Airplane's on there. I would guess I would see it in my life. Like I
definitely think it's weirder that you haven't seen Top Gun than Airplane.
And I think that like with Top Gun, what I've said about it is because they will do these like random like screenings of movies at like Landmark Cinema near both of us.
Yeah.
On like Friday nights, they'll do like an older movie that's like kind of cult classic-y. Like I would see Top Gun on the big screen.
Yeah, like get some like boo, like have some drinks and watch Top Gun in a theater.
That's I would do that. Night. I mean, I would probably do that for Airplane too, but I'd probably just like if I stumbled on Airplane on Comedy Central on like a hungover Saturday, I'm into it.
Here's the thing, like I find with a lot of not all comedies, but sometimes old comedy movies kind of aren't as funny, and I don't know why.
Caddyshack is the one that holds up, but it's the funniest movie ever. When I was researching this, I was looking at a list of great comedies because when you look at like the list of top 100 movies and things, not a lot of comedies on there. So I want to make sure
you had to go separate. Yeah, I agree.
There wasn't anything I neglected, and a list I saw Caddyshack at 85 of the top 100 comedies, and I just immediately left that list. 85. Like if it was 8, I'd be upset.
Yeah,
that's 7 movies funnier than that movie, but 85.
There's like a 4-year span where like Chevy Chase is just fire, and like it's like Fletch. Caddyshack. What year? I love the Three Amigos too, but I don't know if people love that as much as I do.
That's like later. That's probably a little later. Oh, Three Amigos was one of the first comedies I saw. I loved Steve Martin so much when I was a kid. I memorized a Steve Martin stand-up bit that was on Nick at Night every night. About you could be a millionaire and not pay taxes. And I can't even find the bit on YouTube. So I guess it's not that classic a bit, but when I was 4, I was doing it for my parents and all their friends.
I loved The Jerk when I was younger.
I actually haven't seen it all the way through.
It's weird. It's not that good. I don't know why. It's just goofy. But yeah, I loved Three Amigos too. Probably not as well renowned as Fletch and Caddyshack, but I loved that movie too.
No, I mean, and then Vacation was in there.
Oh yeah,
Chevy Chase. Fine, he's a dick, but he's awesome.
Oh yeah, I love his movies. Yeah,
he's awesome. Sorry, he's a dick. That sucks. That's unfortunate, and it totally cost him a lot of opportunities in his career. But no, Chevy Chase is terrific. I'm not gonna.
All right, are we on your number 8?
We are going slow. I apologize. This is one that I don't really like Christmas that much. I don't hate it, but I don't need to be overly in the spirit. So I don't care much to see It's a Wonderful Life, but I haven't seen it, nor have I seen White Christmas all the way through. So I put those at number 8, the Christmas classics, because it's a hole in my cinema. And some people would say it's a hole in my heart because I'm like not like ho-ho-hoing from November 7th through January 2nd every year.
I've never seen White Christmas. Like I don't even know what White Christmas is about.
It's a musical as well. So there's that.
Okay. I've seen pretty much all the other Christmas movies. I haven't seen White Christmas. Maybe that's why, it's because it's a musical.
Also, our generation got lazy and we just redefined it as a Christmas story because it's on all the time. As like kind of the go-to Christmas movie with like Elf and Vacation.
Yeah.
Although those are just all comedies, you know. There's not
and the
laziest
laziest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard. My wife loves what's the Bill Murray one?
Scrooged.
Yeah, she loves Scrooged.
Scrooged is great. It's classic Murray. You know what's great about the Die Hard? Although this is a Die Hard 2 anecdote, I think is that the one with Carl Winslow in it.
I know he's in the first one.
He's in the first one.
He might be in multiple.
I feel that that's like kind of like a bit of a racist trope of like 80s cop movies or 80s like action movies, is that like there's the Bruce Willis or the Sly Stallone or whoever, and then there's like the black sidekick who you really like, who they make like not incredibly capable and who has to take like direction from the star throughout the movie.
In the first one, he's like kind of like he's just not in there. He's like, but he's, to be fair, Carl Winslow's character is like the only guy on the outside of the building like that like knows what that like believes what's going on. There's like two like people outside that actually help the cause, and they're both the black people. It's the limo driver and Carl Winslow. All the like white guys who are like running the police department have no effing clue what's going on.
Well, it is the LAPD. I mean, and that was around their greatest era.
Yeah. All right. Am I on number 8 now?
You're on number 8. Yeah.
All right. Number 8 is I could watch this movie one day. It's long, but it's like I feel like I should have saw it in the theater just because of like how popular it was, and it's Titanic. Like I feel like it's weird that I haven't seen Titanic.
I think the visual. Well, first of all, James Cameron's movies are like so lionized at this point, and I will say part of it is that he's done so few of them.
Yeah, and he just goes big.
He puts such attention to detail into them.
Yeah,
but Titanic had a script. Avatar did not. I mean, Avatar was just like cool shit.
And they're still making 2 more of those.
But I don't know if he's on. Is he attached to those,
or is he just like a producer or something? Like he's not like, you know what I mean? Like he has like executive producer credits or something. I don't know.
Yes, his move a lot of times is to do the first one of these things and then just make money off of them.
I'm more into his ex-wife's movies because I mean, she made the greatest movie ever, Point Break. So,
who's his ex-wife?
What's her face? She did Hurt Locker.
Oh, Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah.
Is she doing the new Point Break? Is the new Point Break really happening? That's really happening, or that's not happening?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. It's
okay,
happening.
So that's happening.
It's
that has been rumored for years.
It's happening. I'm not excited about it, but I'm probably still gonna watch it. It's not gonna be as bad as like the new Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, but it is what it is. So like my number 7 movie is one that my wife was really shocked that I haven't seen, so it made the list, and it's Good Will Hunting. We're getting into better movies, and I think like my top 7 are all widely considered like very good movies.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it because of our age.
Yeah, well, some of these are very much that.
I don't have any more of those on our list. Like, I mean, like, I don't have anything that like has come out in like since like '95. The people that revere that I haven't seen that I remembered to put on the list. That doesn't mean I haven't.
My next 4 are those. Well, from Good Will Hunting through number 4 are all movies that would be like people our age have seen.
So if someone's like, "How do you like them apples?" Do you get that reference?
I know what the reference is. Yeah, it's like a couple of these movies are like so. A few of them, these movies are like so popular that like I know about them even though I haven't seen them.
Yeah, that's how I am with Top Gun for sure.
Yeah.
I will say this. You know, like we did go through a period where like everyone hated Ben Affleck and was like ambivalent about Matt Damon in like maybe the early 2000s or mid 2000s. Mindy Kaling like wrote a play about how the plot was that the screenplay for Good Will Hunting fell out of the sky and into their hands. God. And they're like super insulted about it. And I guess that, I mean, especially Ben Affleck has since gone on to win like Academy Awards as a director and written some great screenplays and cheated on his wife. So he's had a lot happen.
Yeah. I mean, there was like a few years of like, was it really Damon hate ever? I feel like it was never Damon
I don't know
hate.
if it was really Damon hate, but I think people were like, he's kind of, I mean.
He was just going to be in Bourne movies and that's going to be
and the Oceans movies. Like that was a period of his career. Now I think he's probably more into like, he'll try to win an Academy Award. Like
he'll try to get one.
Matt Damon, Clooney, Brad Pitt, they've always kind of been in the same. I've always thought they're all pretty awesome.
Damon's a lower level.
Damon's a lower level for sure.
He's like a half level below those guys.
But Clooney does like a lot of writing and a lot of directing. Damon doesn't do that.
Yeah. And just I don't know. I'm not into a lot of Damon movies. I mean, not that I don't have a problem with Matt Damon like I do some.
Like, where's his edge? I guess with like Brad Pitt did Fight Club and Seven and some kind of fucked up movies.
Yeah,
I don't know.
12 Monkeys I've never seen, but like, yeah.
I don't know if Matt Damon has that kind of edge to his resume.
No, I don't think so.
But he's in some classics. I mean, Rounders, great movie.
Oh yeah, are they making a sequel to that too? I think
That's another one that's been like rumored, like Point Break.
I know the Point Break one's happening now. All right, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is we pull it up. Was checking on Matt Damon's filmography and I lost my list. Also, Apple doesn't have Word, so I'm still adjusting to like their version of it.
Just use like Google Sheets.
Yeah, I should. My number 7 is I've gotten very theological the past few weeks. My number 7 is the 10 Commandments.
Oh man, I've seen the 10 Commandments. See, this is also why the Jewish community is going to turn on me right now because I've now seen the 10 Commandments and not seen Schindler's List.
I don't know that is it the 10 Commandments about Moses? He's like one of their superstars, man.
Yeah, so it's a tie, right? That one's
like
a wash.
He's like the Kobe of Judaism. He's not like he's not like Magic, but
you're right. That one's a wash. That one's for everybody.
He might even be the Magic of Judaism. I don't know. I mean, he's definitely one of their top guys.
You're right. Like the Jews win that movie, even though I just think of it as not as like a Christian movie because it's always on like an Easter. Isn't it like always on like an Easter Sunday?
It is on the night before Easter every year, which would lead you to believe that Easter is the day that doesn't celebrate their. I don't think he's not their favorite, just not their. They don't believe he's the son of God, which is actually an entirely logical thing to believe. That is actually the same thing that I believe to be true.
Yeah, no, 10 Commandments, actually for like, it's pretty cool. Like for like that era of movie. It's like one of those big old epics, right?
Yeah, and honestly, the rules are all good rules. There's shit in the Bible that is like totally being misconstrued and like to prevent people from living their lives the way that they would like to. But the 10 Commandments, nothing you would disagree with there.
No, they're all.
I mean, like, take the Lord's name in vain. Probably a little too high on the list of things not to do. But if it's like just don't use bad language, yeah, you shouldn't. Like, I screw that one up every 10 minutes. But I think it's like a pretty logical thing to say. Like, be smarter than saying "God damn it," and I'm just not.
No, you're right. They're pretty solid rules. I don't know if anybody would argue with the generalness of the 10
There's a lot of things about that book that I'm like, I don't think I think that's kind of shitty. But this one, I'm like, nope. Like, okay, fine. Thou shalt put no other gods before me. I'm not like, okay, I'll just put no gods, period.
So you're not putting on the list the remake of that basically with Christian Bale that everybody said sucks.
Wasn't that I thought, what was the one that was like the Noah story? That was with Russell Crowe, right?
Yeah, it was Russell Crowe. Or
yeah,
or Steve Carell if you're going for that other one.
Yeah, Steve Carell.
All right, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is the Steve McQueen filmography.
Oh,
I've seen no Steve McQueen movies.
I've seen like a couple. I'm not super into it. I've seen like Bullet, and I've seen Coy and Luke. Does that sound right? Is that a Steve McQueen movie?
No, that's Paul Newman.
You're right. I get those guys confused. So maybe I haven't seen many Steve McQueen movies.
I mean, also the Drive-By Truckers have a song honoring Steve McQueen, and it is my favorite tribute of anyone in music. I mean, it has some great lines like about the great or the getaway and something like that. Pussy Alec Baldwin sucked in the remake. By the way, I love Alec Baldwin. Don't agree with their assessment. But then he says something like, speaking of pussy, Steve got it all. And it's like, he fucked Faye Dunaway and he fucked Ally McGraw. And then it just goes, it's just so hilarious. And because Patterson Hood, the guy who wrote that song, is like 45 and like movies were a bigger deal before cable TV.
Yeah. You had to go see them.
You had to go see them.
Or like if there was a good movie on TV, it was like an event. Like it would be like advertised for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and there were TV movies, and that was like something that happened. But so like your heroes were like these guys more so than ever, I think.
Yeah, my favorite Steve McQueen tidbit is back in college. We had a Trivial Pursuit game, and it was from like 1982, and which made some of the questions, like sports questions, were kind of tricky sometimes because like records, you had to like think back in time, to like who had the record then. But like the entertainment questions were really hard because like pop culture entertainment stuff from like the 70s when you're like our age is not stuff you know, and we would just guess Steve McQueen all the time. And whatever, it was like a male actor because he was like muddy of the answers. I don't know why. That's all. That's the first thing I always think of when I think of Steve McQueen is drawing a pink card, trying to get the pink piece in that game, which was the hardest one to get.
See, here's the thing. Like Steve McQueen was as a lover of the Fast and the Furious movies, I think you should really re-examine him because he was like the car chase guy of that era.
That's true. It's very true. I mean, I've watched that bullet like scene like a few times, and I've seen the whole movie. The whole movie's not good, by the way. It's not a good movie. All right. So then I'll go to am I on number 6?
That's what I just did. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My number 6 is it's Silence of the Lambs. I don't even know what else to say. It's Silence of the Lambs. I've never seen it. I feel like it's weird that I haven't seen it, except for it's kind of like a creepy movie, which is I don't watch those in general.
Yeah, I could see why you wouldn't like invest time in it now. I don't think it's that weird. I mean, because it came out in, I don't know the exact years, early 90s, right?
Yeah.
So like we were young to be seeing a movie that's pretty fucked up.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that's just how I missed it, right? And then I just never wanted to go back and see it.
Yeah, I mean, like watching Silence of the Lambs by yourself would just be weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to watch Silence of the Lambs. Of the movies I've listed so far, I think I'm most likely to watch Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
But of the ones I've gone of so far, my first 5 that I've listed. All right. So then here's one that I feel like people just assume I've seen. And the next 2, I assume every guy my age assumes I've seen these 2 movies. But we're just only going to do number 5 right now. And it's Saving Private Ryan.
So you're just not on Team Damon is what it is.
Is that I didn't even know Matt Damon was in that movie.
He's Private Ryan. That movie was an incubator for stars of this generation. It had Vin Diesel.
Yeah, that's why I should see it.
It had Edward Burns. It had Giovanni Ribisi.
I like Ribisi.
Maybe not stars, but like guys that have been like pretty good actors. Who's the guy who was Roger Maris and in like he's in a million movies?
Oh, from 61 asterisk.
61 asterisk. Barry Pepper.
Barry Pepper. Yeah. Barry Pepper.
Paul Giamatti. I mean, I wouldn't call him a star of this generation. He's a little older than
I like Paul Giamatti. Though.
I love him. I think he's older than those guys.
He is.
And of course, Tom Hanks, who I
didn't know any of those guys were in that movie besides Tom Hanks. Well,
they weren't. A lot of them weren't famous at the time. Matt Damon was.
Yeah, Matt Damon was already famous at the time. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I haven't watched a lot of. I might not be into war movies. Is really what I've learned. Like I've never seen Platoon. That's not on my list. I've never seen Platoon.
It's the only one of those classic movies that I haven't seen. I've seen Full Metal Jacket. I've seen
I've never seen Full Metal Jacket. I don't know. I've seen some weird. I've seen a lot of like old World War II movies. But that's because like my dad and my grandpa. But like, I don't know. I'm not super into war movies. Maybe I don't know why. I don't have like a problem with them. I don't know. I also feel like those movies are sometimes better like on a big screen in a theater. And if I miss it,
I mean, I wish I would have seen Saving Private Ryan. The opening scene to Saving Private Ryan is unbelievable.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It gave like veterans flashbacks. It was that intense. So maybe two unbelievable.
All right, what's your number 5?
I did a couple groups. Actually, these next few would be considered groups. I just said early Bond movies. The Roger.
You've never seen one?
I've never seen a Sean Connery Bond film.
Okay, I think I've seen parts. I don't really like them.
Maybe that was too high. I will say.
No, it's still kind of weird that you like haven't seen one of them. Like it's
well, I mean, weird. I've seen all the Pierce, like pretty much all the Pierce Brosnan,
which aren't even like considered like good.
No, And like I haven't seen like the last two of the whatever Bond films are. You could take them, you can leave them. I'm never rushing to see one.
I'm not a huge fan. I really liked Skyfall though.
That was the most recent one. It got
I really liked it. I really liked Skyfall. It was just.
I mean, they've had like a renaissance where they have had like really good directors and really good screenwriters.
Like Benicio del Toro was in Skyfall. He was like the bad guy. It was a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
I mean, del Toro, so.
Sam Mendes directed it, who's
yeah,
pretty great. And
yeah, it was a good movie. You don't need to watch every Bond movie either. It's not like
they're self-contained. It's like an episode of Law and Order in that way. Like
there's like some like teasers and things that link movie to movie, but like you don't need to like know it, right?
No, it's set up to be that way.
Yeah. So you got another like cluster here at number 4?
Yeah, but these are the same. They're not quite the same as. I've not seen a Rocky movie.
That's kind of that's nuts.
I'm a huge sports fan. And I like movies that are like considered to be good movies too. And
at least Rocky 1 is like considered from like all angles.
Seems like Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 are pretty well revered.
Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 become like cable TV action movies kind of. I love them both, but it's a different like tier.
Rocky 4 is the one that's just propaganda, right?
Yeah.
That's the one starring Andrei Karolinko as the Soviet.
Andrei Karolinko. Or Dolph
Lundgren. But God, do they look alike. Like that guy what was that guy's career going to be besides like villain?
He was He-Man.
Okay. Not speaking part.
He was in the He-Man movie. And also my buddy texted me. I did not verify this at all. That he's starring in a Kindergarten Cop remake. I don't even know.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if it's true at all. So this is a text from my buddy JJ. I don't know if it's true.
That would be hilarious. Like, who would they put in that movie now of like guys coming up?
Kindergarten Cop?
Like of like a younger, like who would be like the new Arnold?
Who's like The Rock?
The Rock. Yeah, that's the problem is we don't have like some foreign like phenom. They're all like too homegrown.
Like Tatum.
Yeah, like it's probably like there's never going to be like a bodybuilder turned superstar because now that the wrestlers are doing it too, like Cena.
The wrestlers have like got in that door, right? Of being like the muscle heads who like get into movies. Yeah.
Also, when did wrestling become something that ESPN covered like it was something that was real?
Wait, are they doing that now?
I've seen like them mention SummerSlam and WrestleMania a little bit. When The Undertaker lost, they covered it. I mean, I've always said that they should buy the challenge and just do that. And if they're going to cover wrestling like it's real, at least the challenge is real competition.
When the new season of the challenge comes out, we're going to have a big podcast about that.
Oh, and Carly will definitely be coming back for that.
Yeah. The challenge is like, it's real competition.
Those people are elite athletes.
Some of them.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like once you get past like there are some people that are elite drama queens.
Yeah, it's like the challenge is like a sport if we also watched like, it would be so much like imagine the NBA if you then got to follow the cameras followed the NBA players to the club afterwards.
Oh, we want that so badly. We want that more than anything on earth because the NBA is the drama league.
It's the best. The biggest missed opportunity ever that is that the Jailblazers didn't have a reality show back then.
The NBA is probably not that upset about it, but yeah.
No.
Like, it should still be at the very least. That's got to be a 30 for 30. That team was hilarious and great, by the way.
They're really good. They were good enough to win a championship. They never did. They got very close.
Like I'm thinking of the crimes. I don't think anyone committed like a super terrible violent crime.
I don't know. We'd have to research if anybody hit a woman. That would be like the thing.
That is the most likely crime that was like the pretty bad one that was committed.
Yeah, like did Ruben Patterson ever or like
he was the one I was thinking of as maybe like a pretty big piece of shit.
And I know they might have hit each other too. I also love that Scottie Pippen gets tangled up into that at the end, even though he does none of the antics.
He almost took that team to the finals.
Yeah,
as a point guard. That was actually one of the great Pippen seasons.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, those Bonzi Wells would claim he had black flashes, and then you couldn't remember anything that happened. I have a Bonzi Wells jersey. It's amazing.
I mean, Zach Randolph is still crazy. I think that he's just like reined it in a little. But
like
young Zach Randolph on that team.
Damon Sotomayor get arrested for like weed like every other week.
Who's now a college basketball coach.
NBA players never get busted for marijuana anymore. Never. I don't know if something changed in the collective bargaining agreement, but they never get busted for it.
Well, Damon Stoudemire kept getting busted at airports.
Him and Rashid.
Yeah.
Well, he got used to it. He lived in Vancouver for all that time playing with the Grizz, so he probably just got used to it.
I needed something to numb. Well, he lived in Toronto. He was a Raptor.
He wasn't a Grizz?
He was a Raptor originally.
Maybe he was both at some point. Sharif Abdur-Rahim was the guy who was always on the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Whatever. And Big Country.
Putting up like 24 and 12 and winning like 12 games.
Yeah. All right. My number 4. This is one I think you're gonna be pretty shocked I haven't seen because I feel like we've talked like you talk about it all the time, and I just like am kind of embarrassed that I've never seen it, and I never fess up to never seeing it, and I've never seen Boogie Nights.
Oh, I'm surprised by that. I am.
I've never seen it, and that probably stems from my hatred of Mark Wahlberg.
So I'll say this: that movie, if you want to take it literally and not as satire, which I mean you very easily can, is super depressing.
Really?
Because it's the 70s and they're all on blow, and eventually you have some like terrible catastrophic event that happens when you're addicted to a pretty shitty drug.
Yeah.
So they all have like a sequence of like pretty shitty events that happen to them.
It's not a satire movie though, is it?
It kind of is it could be a comedy or it could be a drama. It depends how you want to watch it.
If I ever watch it, I'll watch it as a comedy.
I would agree with that. I mean, Burt Reynolds, he's so funny in that fucking movie.
So it's like Wahlberg's playing like basically John Holmes.
Yeah, that would be a pretty accurate, especially the way it kind of devolves.
Okay, so like he's playing John Holmes, but not actually called John Holmes, but like he's playing like that.
No, actually, that might be the last movie I saw Val Kilmer in was Wonderland, where he's playing John Holmes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that's a movie I'm not opposed to watching. I just hate Mark Wahlberg. I hate everything about him. I hate that he's hanging out with Jimmy Butler.
Oh, well, he almost cost us Jimmy Butler. And almost cost Jimmy Butler a significant amount of money, by the way.
Yeah.
At least at the time. Maybe Jimmy would have cashed in later.
I can't handle it. I get so mad every time I see a commercial for Ted. Ted's the intersection of everything I hate. It's like if Mark Wahlberg was on Family Guy.
See, Seth MacFarlane is smart and funny, but I hate everything he does.
So is he funny though? Then
when you see him in interviews, like he's always on I almost called it he's always on Bill Maher's show and he's hilarious. He was really funny hosting the Academy Awards.
No, what's good? Like that A Million Ways to Die in the West or whatever. That sucks.
No, that movie was supposed to be horrible. Maybe he's just a one-trick pony, but he's smart. So, like, when he says things, I'm like, I agree.
I don't know if I can consider him funny, though.
I mean, I hate everything he does. Yes, so I guess he's not as funny as I thought he was.
He could be smart. He seems like a smart guy. He's made a lot of money.
I think he's got, like, some sort of Ivy League on his resume.
Yeah. All right. So then let's get to my number 3, which will probably reveal what one of my next 2 is after that. And my number 3 is Godfather 2.
I thought you'd group those two together.
No, because here's the reason. Godfather 2 is not as weird that I haven't seen if you know that I haven't seen another movie.
Sorry, I mean, I kind of spoiled it, but I think we all knew what the other...
We've talked about it on the podcast before, I think, that I haven't seen Godfather. But, like, it's not as weird knowing that I haven't seen The Godfather. I shouldn't have seen Godfather. It would be really weird if I had seen Godfather 2 and not Godfather.
I hope Godfather 3 is your number 1.
Yeah, I threw a loop in there, so there's a gap.
I kind of want to discuss those together. So when
we'll wait till we get to the other one.
My number 3 is something that, like, I mentioned it earlier, how I kind of love Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Although I don't like, I mean, I love him, but I think he's clearly like kind of just in autopilot in a way. But if you love Quentin Tarantino and a lot of other directors, I think like Darren Aronofsky, who's the guy that did Inception and the Batman movies. Why am I forgetting his name?
Yeah, and like he just did that movie with McConaughey in space, Interstellar.
That guy, who people really like. If you like these movies, and that's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
I think Rashomon which I think you actually may have seen if you took a film
Yes,
class.
I've taken a film class. I've seen it.
Is a movie you're supposed to see, and they've like attempted like kind of remakes, and it's a storyline that has like popped up again and again in movies.
Yeah. So what that
And
movie
it's Kurosawa is the director, who's like
it's a old. Is it like Japanese?
Japanese.
And there's like something that happens, like some kind of crime. I don't remember the specifics of the crime, but it's like the first movie that kind of tells the same story over and over again from different perspectives. Kind of like, so the stories, and it's like you see like the tweaks in it, and it's a cool movie actually, as like old movies go. Like, it's an entertaining movie.
So that type of storytelling exists even on sitcoms at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty awesome, and I should see the movie. And it's available in all kinds of digital mediums.
Yeah, you could probably just get it on Netflix or something like that old or something. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So Rashomon is kind of considered the gold standard of heightening and building tension in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it's about it's about a pretty heinous crime, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not,
yeah. It's about
we don't want to go into the exact details, but and my number, this is one you may have seen or may not have seen. Robert Redford in Another Era was a superstar.
Yes.
We just don't realize it.
Yeah.
And the other guy who was a superstar, who I think is probably a little bit more, his legend aged a little bit better, is Paul Newman. And I haven't seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I haven't either.
And that's those. Okay. That's considered like one of the great kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, action has such a, now the concept of action movie is so ridiculously, and
now
it's so tied on to special effects.
Yeah, it basically means special effects movie / superhero movie, or movie that's like they aren't superheroes, but they're basically acting as superheroes. Like Fast and the Furious characters are basically superheroes, even though they're not.
Yeah.
Right.
So
like,
I did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I feel pretty good about it. I mean, two iconic actors. And Robert Redford, also his contribution is like indie movies have been greatly enhanced by his like Sundance and a lot of what he did for them.
What I think we need for action movies, on the side note here, we need like indie action movies, because they won't be able to go as big with like the special effects, right? Like Drive.
Yeah, what a great movie that is.
But that's like an action movie.
Yes.
It just doesn't have crazy but like movies, like you don't need the crazy special effects to do a lot of it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, also that means you probably have a plot.
You gotta have a little more of a plot, right? Yeah.
Which is good. Plots are good.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't even think of that movie at all. I just missed it. Research.
I talked to a friend of the show, Brendan McCaffrey, and I was like, what are all the old movies you love that I haven't seen? And one that I didn't put on here was Patton. It was definitely in the running.
I've seen Patton. Patton's long as hell.
Dude, they used to make them long.
That movie, if I recall, was double VHS.
Yep, double VHS. When we were renting movies, my dad would get a lot of double VHSs, and I'd be like, definitely not watching that.
Yeah, Patton's. Have you at least seen like the first scene?
I know the scene of him in front of the American flag.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good movie. It's long though. They need some film editing. Sometimes I feel like I want like someone to edit these movies after the fact and just be like, let's make this into like a 2-hour long movie that I can watch.
Well, that's what they do now. Nothing goes like longer than 2.5 hours.
No, everything's like 2.5 or 3 hours now. I feel like that's why I don't go to the movie theater. I look up movie times and I'm like, I can't go see this movie. It's 3 hours long. All like the Oscar movies.
What I will say is comedies are getting longer. Like I saw Trainwreck.
It should be comedy should be 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was because it went through like a two. Then you get two involved in the relationship, and really, you know that it's gonna go well. It's a romantic comedy. I mean, 99% of the time,
all Judd Apatow movies are the same.
Yeah, and a lot of his. I
like them, but I'm kind of done with him until he changes something. Like I like them all, but I'm kind of done with it.
Well, if he produces it, I think this was not entirely his vehicle.
Yeah. I just in general, like I know where it's going, right?
Schumer's funnier as a stand-up than she is as an actress, and she always will be.
I haven't seen that movie yet. I'll watch it still, but like I know she's not going to be as funny as she is like on stage because she can't be.
Yeah, I mean, there are scenes that are just like her bits.
Yeah.
Like,
but is it even like as funny as her show?
At times, but those could just be those could just be like scenes from her show.
Yeah, from her show. Yeah, gotcha. All right. I'm gonna get to my number 2 here. My number 2 is a movie that I don't know if you've ever seen, but I feel like it's very weird. Me knowing myself and things that I like, I think it's very weird that I've never seen Boys in the Hood.
I'm very surprised at that as well.
My wife was like insulted still. I haven't seen Boys in the Hood, and she thinks I'll cry if I watch it. I should see Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood is probably, if I have to list which one of these movies I'm seeing next, it's probably Boys in the Hood. So I don't think it's as long as the movie. It's gonna be my number 1 that we all know.
What are your feelings on Straight Outta Compton, which has gotten like universally good reviews?
I'm gonna watch it at some point. I'll watch it. Though I've seen like the weird like things that like the weird. They're already like planning a sequel.
Oh.
Which I don't know what it's gonna be. Is it gonna be like Snoop and Suge and Tupac and all that stuff?
Oh, well, that would be awesome, kind of. Although we know how. I guess Eazy-E to me is like a story I know a little bit less about.
So like, yeah, and like they kind of just gloss over that like MC Ren was like a good rapper. I feel like I've heard in this movie because like that was like the whole thing when Eazy-E left. They're like, whatever, we got this dude who's like just as good. And I love the fact that they keep there's like this like thing where Eazy-E is wearing a White Sox hat in like 1986 that doesn't exist.
Yeah, they didn't change their logo. Yeah.
He's like wearing that hat like before that hat existed. And the other thing I notice about it is people aren't talking about as much is it's a new era fitted hat, and people didn't wear those back then. It would have been like a starter hat, like a snapback starter hat. It wouldn't have been a fitted hat, but whatevs.
I remember when those guys came around, they were all wearing sock stuff. I was so excited. So excited because that logo was cool when it came out.
Now it's just like it's not bad. Now it's just now it seems like a classic baseball logo that's been around forever, even though it kind of hasn't.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's been around like 20 years at this point, over 20 years at this point.
They've had good logos over the years.
Yeah. So then let's just get into it. I've never seen The Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe it because like mob and crime and all that isn't like your favorite thing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw The Sopranos.
You like Sopranos for the most part.
It wasn't my favorite show ever. I liked it. I'm not mad I watched it. I enjoyed it, but it's not like my favorite thing ever. Yeah, I'm just really insulted by the portrayal of Italians.
Yeah, we need to backload this with some jokes because we did not get that funny. We got too analytical today.
No, I like Goodfellas. I like Casino. I love Casino. That's like a mob movie, right?
I mean, those are sequels. Right.
Yeah.
I love the non-sequel sequel where you get like the exact same cast for like
Casino's
a very similar plot line.
Yeah, Casino's definitely the sequel.
Like, yeah. Like, I mean, we talked about Django and Inglourious Basterds. Like, okay, yeah.
I feel like the next one's a sequel to that too. I feel like it's the third one in the trilogy.
Here's the difference in Django is he's like, I like Christoph Waltz. I don't want him to be the bad guy. It's like when WWF realizes it has something with a guy who's a heel. They're like, oh, we got to turn this guy quick. We got to capitalize on him.
Yeah, and that was like the whole like Christoph Waltz in that role. That was like why Will Smith didn't do Django, supposedly, right? Is that he was like, well, I'm not really the hero. That guy's the hero or something.
Yeah, I mean, you get to do a lot of killing in either role of bad people.
I love that Leo did that movie too. He's like, I'm just gonna get weird.
I mean, these guys write characters for certain people.
Yeah. Who else is in the new Tarantino movie while we're talking about it? Besides Kurt Russell. I'm sure like Sam Jackson, right? Like
I think Jamie Foxx is in it. Oh God, I'm getting some weird ones. Channing Tatum.
What? Okay.
How did he get so legitimized? Kurt Russell.
Because people like Magic Mike.
Mike Madsen, who's like kind of a standard Tarantino guy a little bit. Samuel L.
Always.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, who I'm trying to recognize, who I feel like I should know, but I don't really know, is the first person listed. Oh, what I loved was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the first person listed on the IMDb for Airplane.
Like he was like the number one star.
Like I was like, okay. Yeah, not as like Bruce Dern, who's like a career great actor, but I'm not seeing like the star power that Channing Tatum's a huge star right now.
Yeah. So on to Godfather. Here's some. I want to watch it. I'm gonna watch Godfather at some point in my life. I've been saying this for like 15 years, but I still haven't got around to it. Here's the thing. It's not on Netflix. And it's not like on HBO. So like when it's on like AMC, and I know it's edited, and then it's also has commercials, so it's like 4.5 hours long. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it that way. That doesn't seem like the right way to do it.
No, it's not. I wonder if AMC has some sort of exclusive rights to it or something. I think I saw it on PBS once.
I could see that, like PBS, like get a crack at it, right?
Yeah, because they'll get away with it, and they could. I mean, because it's considered a cinematic masterpiece, and they could do it like pretty much commercial free.
Yeah, they'd like cut in at one point to like beg money, probably.
Yeah, the thing about it, which is always fun. I mean, who doesn't want a tote bag for $75? I see the value of public broadcasting, but I would have such a hard time giving them money.
Did you hear that HBO bought Sesame Street?
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, so, well, I guess they're going to like fund some money into it, and then it'll just be available on HBO for 6 months, and then after that, they'll still let them, PBS have them after that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's banging down the door to get the new Sesame Street episodes. I think that the 3-year-old audience could probably do a repeat.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like HBO being charitable.
I mean, the Sesame Street, to me, I lost a lot of cred when they made the Cookie Monster say cookies are sometimes food. He's the Cookie Monster. Yeah, cookies are sometimes food because you have to eat vegetables.
What the hell? But Cookie Monster doesn't have to eat vegetables.
Cookies are sometimes food. It's a thing that he says now.
Shouldn't there just be like another monster that eats vegetables?
Exactly. Although, who would like that guy?
Nobody. Kale Monster.
You know, the funny thing is, whenever in like journalism school, when you're going through, you're like telling people they like teach you how to feed people their news, essentially. And they're like, yeah, you have to make sure to include the vegetables, the things they need, the public service, the government stuff. Even in that analogy, that stuff sucks. So like you're gonna have a guy who just is the analogy. He's just like literally eat vegetables because it could be like, fuck that guy.
You become a bad guy on the show.
Yeah. It reminds me of a wrestling dynamic. Like the stuff you say is so terrible that people are just gonna be like booing him.
He's a heel.
Yeah, and then Cookie Monster star just rises even more. And he's already one of their top 2 or 3 guys, right? I mean, Elmo took a hit when that scandal of the Elmo Puppet Master being a child molester wasn't great for them.
Yeah, but from the kid's perspective, I don't think he took a hit.
I mean, you got to separate the man from his art.
I don't know who the stars are. I guess I'll come back to you in a few years here and tell you who the current stars of Sesame Street are.
Big Bird stands alone, right? I was trying to think of a rock and roll analogy, but I mean, maybe he's the boss.
Just like the sheer size and
everything about him.
Who are your favorite Sesame Street characters when you were a kid?
Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie, huh?
Yeah,
I liked them. I was
for Love for All for a very long time.
I was into Snuffleupagus. I don't know why. I think I just liked elephants in general, and he was kind of like an elephant. And I kind of was into the Count, and I like to like talk like the Count. That's what I was. I think I was into the Count.
I mean, I kind of go through them in my head. I
don't dislike any of them, really. I don't think.
Like Snuffleupagus was kind of like the mopey one.
He was the mopey one, and he would have like weird family members come on that were just like Snuffleupagus, like in a hat. I feel like his brother died or something. Or like his mom died one time.
They've done more of that type of stuff in recent years too, where it's like trying to teach kids lessons about things like that.
Yeah, like something like that happened with Snuffleupagus. Yeah, he was kind of like, like Big Bird's like kind of mopey buddy. All right,
we haven't even gotten to Godfather. We haven't even gotten to The Godfather, really. You should watch it. You can't respect Al Pacino's career without having watched The Godfather, because after that, his career as a screamer, as the hoo-ah.
Well, he's basically my son, because my son just screams and says ooh-ah all the time. Like, that's what he does. Like, his only thing he says besides crying is ooh-ah.
Your son, who's part Italian and part Cuban, which are like Al Pacino's most famous roles.
Yeah, and the only words he says are ooh-ah and crying, like, and screaming. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah, your son is already. We gotta send that kid to Juilliard.
I can't wait.
Start saving up, buddy.
I can't wait till he's in the remake of Scent of a Woman
with Chris O'Donnell, whose career really just never goes after that.
Well, yeah, he was never good.
It goes as far as it should go.
Yeah, probably
went significantly farther.
All right, what was your number one? Did we say your number one? No,
we have not. It's the number one movie on user ratings on IMDb, and user ratings are usually ridiculous, but this one,
I know what it is. Yeah,
it's Shawshank Redemption.
It's good. Here, I saw that movie like 3 years ago for the first time, like 3 or 4 years ago.
It's such a good movie that the phrase of getting hooked into a movie that's on TV is called getting Shawshanked.
Yeah. I was skeptical of it. I don't know why. I just am skeptical of anything that everybody says is that good. And I watched it like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm like, it's a really effing good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it soon. I am.
And like, how long is it? It's not like 3 hours, is it? Maybe like 2.5.
I honestly didn't look at the running time. I mean, I think that even in Morgan Freeman's career of like just classic film after classic film, this is considered his like best one.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. And I'll probably, I don't know. Here's the thing though. It's weird because like the term is getting Shawshanked, but I don't get Shawshanked by many movies. Like, I don't think Shawshank will Shawshank me.
The problem is commercials.
Yeah, Shawshank won't Shawshank me.
The commercial comes and then you're back to like your real life.
Caddyshack will Shawshank me.
Yeah.
Certain movies will Shawshank me, but
I think comedies are easier too. Like, you can just flip in and flip out. I was watching Road Trip this morning. Yeah. Actually, still pretty funny, by the way.
Yeah, I watched part of Road Trip too this morning.
Still pretty funny.
Though I do claim Euro Trip's better than Road Trip, but
which is so wrong. Before we were doing podcast, we did a list of the top 10 like teen movies, teen comedies. Remember that one?
Yeah, I love.
We got to that Road Trip versus Euro Trip debate. I mean, Shawshank is considered a classic. It's inspirational. The thing is, I kind of don't like inspirational generally.
It's the reason I root for the criminals to keep saying escape when they escape from prison. I assume it was just like Shawshank every time. Or the movie Prison Break, or the TV show Prison Break, which I ride for the first season of Prison Break. And I think anybody who hasn't seen it should just watch the first season of Prison Break and then stop watching the show after that.
Hey, one hit wonder, but one hit's better than no hit.
Yeah, I heard Netflix is remaking that show. I'm like, what? I don't even understand. If you could just remake the first season somehow, when they're actually in prison and breaking out. Once they broke out of prison on Prison Break, the writers were like, what the fuck do we do now?
They had a similar thing happen to the Ichabod Crane one that they did, where like they got to the first season and he was still alive in Sleepy Hollow, so they had to transport them to 2015, and now it's Ichabod Crane in the present day.
Like, what do we do now?
Like, people write a pilot and there's like, no fucking way this is going to be a thing. Even if it is, we're only going to get the 4 episodes. And then they get past like 12 and they're like, oh shit. Also, like, that's when you start to make a lot of money.
Yeah, you just got to make something and just ride it till the wheels fall off, right? Like,
or as we could call it, True Detective Season 2.
Yeah. Should we just talk about that now?
Do we want to do an overtime? I mean, how do we want to do
an overtime and talk about it? But before that, there's a couple of things I know you haven't seen. You haven't seen a Lord of the Rings movie. Right?
Oh, yeah. I didn't feel bad about putting that on there. I saw the first one and like fell asleep.
Oh, so you've seen it though?
Kind of.
Don't feel bad about it. Okay. It's kind of weird.
I debated the Harry Potters. I've seen like maybe 2 of them.
Oh, so then you've seen a couple of them. I thought you hadn't seen any of them.
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, I've read like the first 4 books, and I've seen like
parts. You've read the books?
First 4.
Look at you.
Out of like 7 or 8. Yeah, to impress a girl in high school. Still didn't get an HJ out of it. HP equals no HJ for BRM. That's shorthand.
And they're making that new Harry Potter movies,
which is astounding to me. But it's just
starring Colin Farrell,
whose stock is not as high as Matthew McConaughey's was after True Detective, but probably not in a terrible place.
Yeah, and Eddie Redmayne, whose stock is soaring because he just won an Oscar.
Yeah, inspirational movie I don't want to see. So that's the thing.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.
This was I enjoyed making this list. I don't know if it was quite as funny, but I think it's kind of ridiculous that I haven't seen these movies now that I look at this list. I don't feel bad about all of them, but I feel bad about some of them. So if you have any ideas for future lists, also we're gonna do an NFL one soon. So if you have any ideas on little mini lists we should do on our NFL one, shoot them over to us at firstoftheworst@gmail.com, or you can post them on our Facebook page, First of the Worst. You should like our Facebook page and share our podcast when we post it on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you like to share it. You can just tell your friends. You can share it by mouth. That's a thing people might still do. And then like subscribe to it on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get it from. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
All right. Later. All right, let's do a quick True Detective.
I also wanted to maybe include Hard Knocks in this.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Let's do HBO.
The HBO. We could just have an HBO segment.
At the end.
I even watched the Oscar Isaac miniseries, the first 2 episodes.
I still need to see the tennis movie with Kit Harington and which I've heard is pretty funny. With Kit Harington,
Andy Samberg.
Yeah, which I've heard is pretty good. It's like a documentary. It's a mockumentary, right?
Yeah.
But so True Detective. What are your final thoughts? There might not be another season.
Well, it was it had to be rushed, right? That's part of the problem.
Yeah, there might not be another season. I hope they give it another shot. The ending wasn't terrible, but like part of it was like at the end you're like it was these kids all along.
The ending was terrible because the Mexicans were such an afterthought and they came back to get him. Although I guess
the second to last episode was maybe one of the better ones.
Like I thought that if anything, the loose end was the son, the mayor's son, which was still like he was not a big character, but he was the ultimate villain in the end.
He won. He kind of won.
Well, we're led to believe that story was probably going to fuck him. That they were coming like in the end, Rachel McAdams wins because she has a baby of Colin Farrell's and she's able to fuck everyone with that story, right?
Yeah, I think he doesn't fuck him.
I mean, we've seen.
I think we're supposed
scandals.
to believe it fucks him, but I feel like if there was 2 more episodes, it wouldn't fuck him somehow. That dude's just untouchable. The mayor's kid or whatever, who like killed his dad.
Yeah, I mean, and then like the kid, everything was so loosely tied in to like the big ending, right? Those kids were something they mentioned.
Yeah.
Like maybe twice.
They didn't do a good job of tying things together, like and like weaving. They didn't do a good job of weaving story together. Like there's loose like ties to things, right? But like they didn't do a good job of like weaving the story in and out of itself and like giving you a real chance to like kind of see where things are going. Maybe, you know.
I mean, they actually probably were a couple episodes short of where they needed to be. If you look at it like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had as much Vince Vaughn as I could handle. Also, there was like 100% chance that Colin Farrell was going to get it at the end.
Yeah, you didn't think Vince Vaughn would, though. I didn't.
I thought they all were going to. I thought they were all going to die. But I thought that last season too. I thought that last season too. So what do you think we get? Do we get a 3rd season of True Detective?
Well, let's go less monologue heavy. Because like they already were kind of weird in season 1, and then this season they were terrible, and there were so fucking many of them.
You got to have a guy that could do it. Too.
I mean, like Vince Vaughn did too many of them, but Colin Farrell can do it, and you're still kind of like,
Wasn't there? So like, were there people who like were supposed to get those roles that didn't? I think Farrell was supposed to have that role. McAdams wasn't the first choice, right?
It was Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, Jessica Chastain. Yeah,
Chastain, is that what it is?
Yeah,
but she was fine.
She was
fine.
I don't think McAdams was the problem at all. I don't think McAdams was the problem at all.
It was not well written.
There was just so many. There's like you could look it up. I'll post it maybe to something. It was like worst lines from the season. My favorite one is these contracts are covered in signatures. Because that's what's on contracts. All contracts are covered in signatures.
I mean, he had his whole career to write True Detective season 1. He had 6 months to write True Detective season 2.
Didn't Vince Vaughn say it was like blue balls for your brain or your heart? Or something at one point too. It's just horrible. My favorite thing of the whole season is still, now that for the rest of my life, I'm gonna say when people are smoking e-cigs that it looks like they're sucking robots' dicks.
That was such a terrible line. That whole.
But I love that after the
Brutal.
time jump. After the time jump, she
The only line
starts cigarettes.
season is when that scumbag cop. Sorry, the video you were talking and not speaking. It was like watching the Power Rangers. Your lips are moving and I got no audio, so I wasn't sure. The only line I think I even mentioned this last time we went into overtime is when like they had to go so obvious on Taylor Kitsch's character being gay from day one. And he says something like, yeah, the guy was a homo. He was like hitting on me. And then they walk in like 2 minutes later and the scumbag cop's like, what did we miss? And he's like, a dynamite anecdote from the youngster. That was the only line I liked of the whole show.
That was the best part of the whole show. It was the best part of the whole show was that line. But so next season, I think let's scale down. We don't need to have 4 main characters.
That was a huge problem.
Let's throw that out there. We don't need 4 main characters. I think we're gonna get a minority character because everybody's gonna freak out.
Definitely getting a minority character.
Season 1's freak out was the women were terrible, so we got a main female character. This season we're gonna get the freak out that there was no minority character, so we're getting a minority character. I can think. Let's go to like maybe 3 main characters, 2 or 3. Here's the thing: we don't need to get huge names. Maybe throw 1 decent name in there and just give me some like guys we've heard of, maybe who are like good actors.
Yeah, Taylor Kitsch didn't really get it done this year either to me.
No, I don't. But part of it's like that character sucked.
Yeah,
the character sucked. And I don't know. I don't care about like where they do it. You can do it wherever. Like the problem with the show wasn't that it was like in like rural California. That was
the concept of it was the concept of that town was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. Let's talk a little bit about Hard Knocks.
I hate Bill O'Brien.
Oh, I love Bill O'Brien. He's my only person I like on the whole Texans team. Well, Vince Wilfork, number one. Vince Wilfork's the most likable guy on the show.
Okay, well, first of all, JJ Watt.
JJ Watt's the worst.
I want to make a point about JJ Watt. I don't like him very much. But he's so fake. He starts out that tire flipping, and he's like, 2 years ago I could do 0. Yesterday I did 75. I'm like, you already were like the strongest person on earth. Like, how am I to believe that you're not on steroids? How is it possible that you are not on steroids?
He set white people back 20 years with that rap.
Oh, God.
It's like the song they play before Bulls games. 10% struggle, 20% pain. And it's like, you got to get a zoom in. And he's like sitting on a tire that he's been flipping. And
everything JJ Watt does. I mean, it's Hard Knocks, so a lot of it's staged. Him just running like swim moves on a dummy
at night, and then catching like the ball from the jugs machine with one hand, and then signing 1 million autographs while nobody else is around was just like the most like, hey, I'm just gonna be awesome, JJ Watt, for the next hour. Let's get this on camera.
And he is awesome. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say he's not awesome at football.
He's maybe he might be the best football player in the world.
Yeah.
He might be.
But,
and then, so you don't like Bill O'Brien? I love that Bill O'Brien is just dropping F-bombs all the time and then claiming to love Rick Ross and all the time.
That's the only thing that's funny about Bill O'Brien is loving Rick Ross.
I love Rick Ross. And the guys like all laugh at him.
All of his speeches are, I mean, they're coach speeches, but they're so canned. I really like Marvin Lewis because of Hard Knocks. And actually, if you talk to a Bengals fan, like, please get rid of Marvin Lewis at this point. And I think Hard Knocks prolonged his career with them like significantly. Yeah. But his like tirades where he was like, "We're not fuck." They were like seemed real angry. Bill O'Brien seemed like he watched Hard Knocks, and this is like what he's supposed to do.
I don't think he's angry. He just drops motherfuckers like every 5th word, like all the time. And he's not coming off as bad as that Dolphins coach, who I thought.
God, that guy. I thought that guy was the worst coach in the NFL until they beat us with the read option last year, and I was like, oh, we might be trending toward worst coach in the NFL.
Yeah. So then you got Vince Wilfork, who's hilarious every time he's on screen. Like when he was playing pickup basketball and just yelled Tim Duncan and then shot a big shot that like completely missed the rim, it just killed me.
Yeah, but then he was trying, and you could see that he's an unbelievable athlete still.
Yeah, even though he's like 400 pounds.
When he was trying, he was like raining threes. And you're like, that's how those guys are. That's how those guys are. That they're good at everything.
Yeah. And Brian Cushing is just like the most stereotypical meathead in the history of meatheads.
Oh, I hate that guy. I've hated all those USC guys for always. Except kind of Leinart and Bush, but because they were
I kind of just hate this Texans team because of JJ Watt and Brian Cushing. Brian Cushing just being like to DeAndre Hopkins,
he's not even that good.
I don't drink Starbucks anymore. He's like, it's chick shit. Like DeAndre Hopkins is like, it's good, man. Like, I don't know why you don't drink it.
And then picking a fight with Alfred Blue when they're already down a running back.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna like elbow, like doing like this tough shoulder when he walks by guys and be like, sorry, man, didn't mean to do that. He's like, actually, I did mean to do that. And then getting like really worried about having a daughter because he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, also on steroids for sure.
Yeah. He's got the steroids that make you crazy. JJ Watt apparently has at least managed them to the point where he might be on like just HGH. JJ Watt's got like better stuff than Cushing.
See, what we're not getting is like they're like younger, cool black guys. We're not getting like enough of that. Like we got a ton of that with the Falcons last year. It was the only fun part, like watching like
the receivers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Hopkins is a cool motherfucker. Also, his fantasy stock is going through the roof because of this show. He's like the Hard Knocks guy that gets overdrafted because their offense is so terrible. No one else you really want.
And he Alfred Blue could have become that guy after the injury to Arian Foster, but then Brian Cushing just belittled him too much.
Yeah, so he's actually like an under the radar guy through Hard Knocks fantasy value.
He's just belittled him so much.
And Blue was just like, you know what? It's not worth it. I think Alfred Blue was just like a human being about it. He's like, this is stupid. Yeah, sure, whatever.
My dream is a Bears Hard Knocks season.
We will have met almost every criteria after not making the playoffs this year.
Oh, yeah, we could have like a rookie quarterback coming into camp next year. Though, like, don't you feel like Cutler Hard Knocks would just be like the best?
Well, maybe it'll happen next year when he's on, the Titans.
And it'll be like, oh, yeah, it could, yeah. Or it could be like him on the Bears and they have a rookie quarterback and there's like now like a quarterback.
That would be amazing.
That would be the best. Except we'd have so much Cavallari. Cavallari would just shoot her ass into that show. Like
he would just talk so much shit that she'd be hilarious to make fun of.
Yeah, it'd be so entertaining. I don't even know who else on the Bears would be like really fun. But
I mean, Long would be like kind of a meathead, but probably kind of fun.
He's kind of in that JJ Watt role to me.
He is kind of a meathead.
He's kind of like that, like try hard to be cool in the media meathead.
Oh, right? And they love him.
Yeah, well, that's the JJ Watt. Like these guys just have the media eating out of their hands, right? Like,
Martellus
would be great,
but he'll be gone probably because he's too good for us anyway. I mean, they've paid all these bums. They're like, yeah, we're not going to give Bennett an extension. Why would we do that? He only plays every single week and catches 10 balls a game.
We'll talk more about who the three good players are on the Bears probably in one of our next couple podcasts.
God, they're going to be so fucking bad.
One of our lists will definitely be top 10 Bears players because there's not 10 good ones.
No. Are we gonna call it a day on OT?
Yeah, let's just do it. I'll call it a day.
It was a long podcast as it was, but
it's a long pod.
Thanks for listening to Overtime.
All right.
By the way, I stole that from Bill Maher. That's what he calls his extra, and I'm sure many post game shows do.
We're not the first people to use this.
We didn't invent Overtime.
All right, man. Later.